every great product starts with the problem people ignored. Today's guest didn't just notice it, he built a solution around it. Meet Pula, the co-founder of InvoGuide, a platform that helps short-term rentals hosts turn chaos into clarity through smart and digital guidebooks. From creating content on YouTube to building software as a service for New Zealand's booming Airbnb market, his journey shows that you can start anywhere and scale everywhere. Welcome, Pula, to Scaling Secrets. How's your day been?
Good. I've been doing some work in the morning as well, so had to close it off and then get my mind, all about talking.
Yeah.
So did the drive-in, was getting into the zone while on the way, and now I'm here.
No, fantastic. I did see.
Thanks for being having me on.
No, it's absolutely fine. Thanks for coming to the show.
Yeah.
And it is quite small, New Zealand as a place as well. So we get to get an opportunity to meet the startup founders very well. So thanks to the small country, we get an opportunity to approach the founders like yourself pretty well. But I saw that you pretty much hardworking. Your message came through for the confirmation at 2 in the night. So I thought, this mate is still working. I'm sure about that. Yeah. And that's what the key thing is, right? Yeah. Around being a founder of the company. It's round the clock. There's nothing like 9 to 5 job. No. There is nothing like that. If you are thinking about it, then that's definitely a wrong thought process in itself. So talking about, the business itself and you being the co-founder, to hit it off, people think, Airbnb is much more as a passive income.
Yeah.
Right? But until they actually run it.
That's true.
So what was your moment you realized that, short-term rentals were broken enough for someone to come and fix it?
So I'm just looking at a very small piece in a much bigger puzzle here, Bridge. I was talking to my friend who's back in Sri Lanka doing his own short-term rental property. He's listing on multiple channels like Airbnb, Booking.com. And I was talking to him because back then I was brainstorming ideas to start off with. And he said he has to send these long WhatsApp messages and emails to convey information to the guest, and that is a bit of a pain for both parties.
True.
If there's a way that he can do it in a more professional way, that's something that he might get value out of. So that was the beginning of the this entire thing. That was about 2 years ago now. So I looked at the competing products, their price points, what they offer, what I could do better, and then here we are.
No, fantastic. I mean, that's a learning experience in itself, right? I mean,
100%.
taking and going from understanding what the market could potentially look like to what you guys are building to it. What's the story behind the version of you before InvoGuide?
Before InvoGuide.
Yeah.
So that's very likely my version before New Zealand. For me personally, it has been about 2.5 years now. Almost 3 in New Zealand. So
wow.
I've been alive for 32 years. So that's just one, the small percentage of it, right? For the rest of the time I've been in Sri Lanka, I've done my studies there. That's the entire culture I was aware of, even though I had traveled a few times. In your mind, when you see yourself in your world, that world becomes very constrained to the people the roads you travel daily, the language you speak, especially the language you speak. So that was me, and I was a good student, and I excelled in my studies, very humbly speaking, because I went to the biggest the most sought after university for engineering back in Sri Lanka. So I was an engineer, but after like 7 months, I started getting it started affecting my health because I was a civil engineer and you have to be out in the field. There's a lot of dust, so much sun. I guess part of the issue when you're studying is you just look at each career very theoretically, not the practical day-to-day stuff, which come back to you when you're actually doing it. So it was like 4.5 years later that I realized maybe this is not the career to be in. So I just came out of it, and then I was like,
Interesting.
I'm thinking I was about 23, 24. Wow. Just a kid, not married, living in my parents' house. So I had all that flexibility working for me. Like looking back, I wasn't taking things seriously at all, I guess. I did have my wife, who was my girlfriend then. So I was like, all right, I was a good student. I can teach students how to, be students, get better grades and all that. With that in mind, I started the YouTube channel, which was branded Team One Learning. One of the key lessons, I started building the audience. I didn't exactly know what or how I was going to monetize it with, at least at the very beginning. The YouTube channel went on for about 2.5 years, and it was like a long stretch of drought. Like, you just keep pushing videos. I'm sure you are aware of the pain.
Yep.
And then it hits, and then whether it hits or not is largely out of your control.
Yep.
Depends on the algorithm and all, all those stuff. But then it did hit, and then I was selling my coaching programs and all that. Some apps, it was going well, and then the Sri Lankan economy went down, and I had to take a day job again. This time becoming a software project manager, where I got to meet so many cool tech guys, all the geeks, designers, developers. I was a civil engineer, so I was, I didn't exactly understand what these guys were speaking most of the time.
Yeah.
But then, I picked things up.
You pick the language over the period of time. When you start talking, the jargons are very pretty.
And then my wife got a job offer.
Oh, that's interesting.
To come here.
Okay.
So like we left all that behind and came here. And once here, I thought maybe data is coming up. I didn't want to get back into civil engineering, so I was like, all right. And then I got this data administrator job, and man, that was very boring for me. Like I could feel my mind going in. It's like putting the gear on the neutral and just driving. You are not going anywhere.
Yep.
And of course the job market was pretty bad as well. If the audience is in New Zealand based, they would totally resonate with it. I guess the entire global market is at a bit of a soft spot as well.
True.
So I couldn't get a better job that I felt more engaged in. I was like, okay, let's just try to do another startup then, that's find a good problem.
That's fascinating, to be really honest. And you've gone from Sri Lanka to New Zealand, from content creation to a SaaS founder now.
Yeah.
Right? How and what's that one identity shift that you that even surprised yourself?
Well, I keep changing so many things. It's something that really scares my wife, I should say. I guess identity-wise, because I see myself as an introvert most of the day, but I've figured out I can do this very well. Like taking ideas out of my head and presenting it. And during a certain segment, I identified as a YouTuber.
Okay.
I guess that's the most radical shift I've done out of the normal sequence. And I've always seen myself as an engineer in my head.
Okay.
Which I had to consciously break out of, because right now, if I keep myself in the engineering mindset, in this SaaS startup, I hinder. Like I keep getting in the way of actual engineers who are building the tech thing. I need to come into the space of a marketer and a salesperson.
Yeah, that's important.
Because you can build the best product that's out there, but if no one knows about it and if no one takes out their credit card to pay for it, you don't have a business. So I'm putting myself in a brand new role
True.
all over again, and doing Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff right now.
That to take a little bit into deeper context of this, was InvoGuide? It's InvoGuide, right?
InvoGuide. Yeah.
InvoGuide born from a frustration, more of a curiosity, or was it more of a personal pain point?
Not a personal. My pain point was I was stuck in that job.
Yeah.
At the point of this recording, I'm still in that job.
Yeah.
But that was a pain point. Like, I felt like someone saying this might say that's his ego, but I feel I am meant for bigger and more adventurous things than being a data
no harm in
administrator.
thinking about it, to be very honest.
I mean, if you don't think it yourself,
Yeah.
no one else is going to think that for you.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you are trying to talk to founders, right? Bridge aspiring founders.
Yep.
It's perfectly fine to have that ambition, because if it's not for any person's ambition, we wouldn't have all these remarkable inventions and big businesses, and brands in the world. It's just because someone thought that something is possible and they are capable enough to give it a shot, that they kept on doing it, and then something came out of it. 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.9 out of 10, it won't come to anything big. But if you're a founder, if that's your operating system, you tend to shut out all the negativity and just look at the 0.1% of the possibility, and you just keep going at it. For me personally, since the question was about my personal pain points, I think I'm delusional in that sense, in thinking, I can do something that's big and, worthy, valuable. No matter what comes my way, I just try to grab onto something and keep doing at it.
No, that's interesting that you say that, and you talked about touched a bit on the startup, and yes, it is about the ambition. It is about the thinking a bit out of the scope option, right? I mean, and that's how it is. And me reaching out to startup founders, aspiring startup founders, or who have been into this journey quite long, it is quite interesting. As well as most of the time, you do get people talking good things. 100%. Fantastic concept. But when it comes to come and pull the trigger and come in here, that's when you know that, what, there's a hold up over here for some reason or the other. We don't know that. But talking about yourself, assuming that you've been a decent time in the New Zealand startup industry and the culture and experiencing that culture firsthand, what makes it easy and easy and difficult to build a product like this for New Zealand market?
Well, technically, Bridge, I'm looking at a global market, but I can answer that question as a founder who's operating here. In my personal story, I was doing a startup in Sri Lanka, which is a third world country. Coming here, this being a first world country, I get so much more access to resources. One key thing being Stripe, which is such a basic thing, a universally accepted payment platform, which is absent in Sri Lanka, unfortunately. For me, me and my wife, we are the co-founders. It took about, I think, 30 minutes max to register the company, get the NZBM, use that information, put it on the Stripe portal, and boom, done. Doing that simple thing in Sri Lanka, that is possibly weeks, and Stripe is impossible. So because it's not regulatory, like the framework isn't there. So these little things are, for me, in my eyes, blessings. And coming back to the question, we have so many programs here funded by government as well to get the startup ecosystem up and running. We have meetups happening, so many good folks who talk about it. We met out of such an event as well, Bridge. So, and it's very welcome. The culture of innovation and being very open about it is here. So and those are the good things. And once if you set up the business to be global,
Yep.
which I think like that's my go-to mindset. You can do a local one, absolutely no harm in that. Either one you choose to do, you have that infrastructure. And I remember one thing, this other founder at the event said he had talked to this very big persona, a government official, and I was like, how did you do that? In my mind, I was operating out of the Sri Lankan mindset.
Yeah.
It's practically impossible to talk to someone in the government if you are just a startup founder. He just said he picked up the phone and called. So if you are a Kiwi founder here, you don't need to be Kiwi. Like if you are operating out of New Zealand, whoever you are, I'm a migrant personally. So you have those trumps in your hand.
Yep.
Come out and play them.
Yep. No, you talk pretty well in terms of the fact that it is quite an open culture where you reach out to the person, like even for myself, reaching out to the co-founders, for yourself, reaching out to the people of interest in your segment of work. It is quite not that challenging, I would say. It is quite ironed out process over here. It's more like, as you say, pick up the phone and call. It is as simple as that sometimes to go through. But as an Airbnb, the host that handles 20 plus tasks, I'm sure, from cleaning to checking in to pricing to maintaining the property, but no one talks about it as from that perspective. What was the first moment you realized that short-term rentals aren't just a passive income, but it is much more for full-time operations?
I think I only realized that after I started working with HostBridge, because I wasn't ever in that position where I was running it. So this is not my personal experience. So I guess that can be some proof that for any aspiring founder that you don't have to do the entire thing yourself. If you can see an angle where something can be done better for some other person, you can find more of them, see if that's a common pain point, and then maybe come up with a solution. See if they are if it's a big enough pain for them to actually pay for it, and if that's the case, maybe you have a business. So so how I started is I was talking to my colleagues, seeing if any of them are property managers, owners, or if they have any personal contacts, their friends who might be in that business. And I was lucky enough, Dee, one of my good friends and a colleague, she said, yes, I have a friend, let me connect you to her. And that was my first prospect. It was a phone call again. I've never met this other lady, Kylie. I was like, hi Kylie, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm trying to do this kind of thing. Would that be of interest? And she was like, yeah, we could give it a shot. And that's how I started. And then I posted in Facebook groups, very New Zealand based Facebook groups for property owners. Again, I'm not one of them, so I still feel like I'm an alien coming into the space, and then I can't spin the story where I can resonate on that level. But then I am being authentic. I'm not doing this, but I see a pain. I'm working with people like you. They have had this value out of my product. Would you be interested? So that's the narrative I bring about. But yeah, and once you start seeing the repeating process, pain point, and the repeating value they get, like, okay, so this person is gaining value, their reviews are coming up, and they are getting less and less questions, because their guests can easily see the digital version and answer the questions themselves. They don't have to call the property owner at 10:30 in the night to figure out how the washing machine works or something like that, because those are some of the pain points that have actually happened. Again, I didn't know by experience, but I've come to see that it is a thing that's happening. And so yeah, you can do that.
Quite interesting. And I mean, when you look at it, it is much more of a context that for us who are just visiting as a short-term rental guys,
Yeah.
for us it's just a fun and an enjoyment time.
Yeah,
But at
yeah.
the end of the day, it is a full-blown operational process
Yes. Yeah.
that goes for the people. And I was reading a fact, and I read it somewhere as well, that according to the statistics, hosts lose around 25 to 40% of revenue for poor communication.
Yeah.
And do you think New Zealand hosts are ready to kind of accept that kind of a workflow is a real issue, or
Right.
not the guests, not the platform, but it's the whole workflow process?
Yes, but I think one of the key challenges we have also, Bridge, is that for you to be a property owner, you need to, no, sorry, for you to be an Airbnb operator, you need to have an extra property, and property is expensive here. So it tends to be senior people, using the official term, that who have the luxury of having an extra property. I'm talking about the particular customer who's managing it by themselves, because there can be other segments in any market. Operating levels might differ. So as the first approach, we are talking to personal property managers. They can be, in their own experience, they might think just a book is the best way to do it. They might not be comfortable digitizing it. So that's a key challenge we are facing, and because any business can't force feed a solution. The desire should come through the customer. You can only channel desire, and structure your copy around those existing pain points. That's what you can do. You can't pull it out of thin air.
Yeah.
So we try our very best in all the marketing material we make to come at, because we are coming to the same point ultimately, getting them to buy a digital guidebook, create it, but we tried different angles. One being like, hey, printing stuff costs the environment. Maybe don't do that. Every time you do an edit and you print it again, you are throwing away. And about 25% of the global landfill waste is printed, like books and paper. So you're contributing to a bigger problem. Don't do that. Some people might resonate with that and become customers. Some might not think that as a big enough problem.
That's a big enough problem. Yeah.
And then the 10:30 p.m. call.
Yeah.
If people have had that, then such a marketing message might hit. Another would be like just being a more professional host in the eyes of a guest. Different things might stick.
Yeah.
Being entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You need to see all the angles that your prospect might value. Do marketing in all these different areas, and 100%. Then see what works.
Now, as you talked about, and that's you said it pretty right. You have to throw different aspects and opportunities to see what sticks on the wall,
exactly.
right? Yeah. Help me understand that a bit more. How did you validate the first 10 users? Right. And what did they teach you that your data couldn't?
I basically didn't have any data. Whatever these guys, told me.
The feedback.
The feedback, that was the entire basis on which we did what we did, what we continue to do as well. So after that, one lady came on board, first customer. At that point in time, we didn't even have a revenue model. And then I said I posted on Facebook groups as well. Some people responded. I took their PDFs, email threads, all that, and used a page builder. There's so many. I copy pasted everything. Like took screenshots, like for pictures, like a coffee machine or a washing machine panel that they were giving points on, like how to operate it. I put all of that on each of those custom web pages, and then send the link saying, hey, this is look okay. And if you have any updates, whenever you have them, just send it over. And then a few months down, and we were still trying to finalize the business model for it. Tried a few different angles, but then I was like, if this is adding value to you, and by this point in time they had been using it for some time, this is the amount that we think we should charge. Mind you, I was unsure about it, like whether they would pay that amount of money. But then they were like, yeah, we are happy to do that. So that's a big validation. Like we talked earlier, you need to ask someone to get any feedback. If you don't ask those questions, you're not going to learn. At that point in time, your biggest barrier is any of the mental baggage you might have around asking people for money. Because personally, and as a founder, you might have your own self-worthy issues. You might be building such a good product, but you might not be monetizing it to the fullest capacity, to its fullest potential, if you have issues around your own self-worthiness to ask people for money. This is a very raw thing that and it's my truth, something I'm tackling it. Even at the startup event we were at that point in time, the price was $6.79, like $6.79 per month, and people were like, that's it? Meaning in their mind, they are willing to pay a higher price for that product once I've explained it. So yeah, you need to have those conversations, as many of them as possible.
Sure.
See what they say, because ultimately, as a founder, you're not trying to get the most number of customers, you are trying to make the most money. And let me say that right now here, money isn't an evil concept. It is just a means by which value is exchanged. If you are a founder, you will have a team, and you need to pay these guys because they are sacrificing so much. I mean, if you're a startup, you basically have no branding behind you. You're not Google, and any person coming to work for you is going to put your company on their CV, and that's a big risk they are taking, right? So you need to compensate them for the sacrifice, effort, and time they're making. And for you to do that, you need to have money. And how do you get money? From your customer. So you need to charge them a fair value, make enough money, make good money basically, and then funnel it to marketing, your team, and for yourself as well, because otherwise you're going to burn out. You keep doing this, you're not getting anything out of it. It's going to come back to you one day. So monetize it well, keep asking questions, and make money. That's what you're doing as a founder.
Fantastic. I'll just put a hold on it. I'll just want to check if it's recording. Yeah. Just going it. Well,
how's it going so far, Bridge?
It's going good.
Okay. Everything's green.
Yeah, and I was just thinking if it's because I don't have the transparent glass. So I wanted to check if it's recording perfectly. I think it's everything going well.
Okay.
So that's nice. We get a bit of water as well, and I'll need to tell. I'm alone, so I need to check this very well because I don't want to.
Man, it's bringing back so many memories.
It's good.
In Team One, like I made this by hand. I didn't have the cash. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the story when it's not getting recorded. But yeah, this is because of my friend Krish, anyways.
Yeah.
And he's a fanatic.
All right.
He loves all this. He owns his company as well.
Okay.
So Toto Nappies is his company. He's the founder. He's the builder. He's been doing a business for quite a long time. But yeah, he's the guy. He loves all this stuff. He's got more of this stuff as well. He's not here. That's why I have very less stuff in front of you.
Okay.
If he was here, he would have got a camera here. There's a phone here. The first was here. A lot of stuff here running around. But anyways, so beautiful insight. That's such a powerful insight that you've given us, Pula, about from making money as well, how you take the feedback, how did you validate the users that came through your channel and the funnel as well, the sales pipeline. Talking about it for InvoGuide, what feature did you build that you initially doubted that users would love? And vice versa, what feature did you think was a genius, but the users did not care about at all?
Mm. Honestly, Rich, everything I built was based off of customer feedback. So I wasn't imposing my imagination on them, um, except maybe for the format I used, which is looking at the competing products. The user had to do 1,000 clicks to get to a particular piece of information, which I hated seeing. And I could easily see, given the attention spans and patience people have with software products these days, they're not going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that. You just do one scroll and then see the information, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So that's a hypothesis I had, and I made it our current product in that way. Like, it's just all the information is in one scroll. You can jump to sections based off of menu, just basic UI UX things, right? So I'm not giving away any secrets here, I'm
Yep.
sure. So that was the hypothesis. I didn't. Well, that question I didn't even ask. Like, I just presented it like that. What do you think? And they were like, yeah. And then their guests had used it, and they were getting all their guidebooks were mentioned in their reviews. The host weren't getting the same questions over and over again, meaning the hypothesis worked, right? So I guess that's the one thing, the layout of it. The rest of it, like, now that we have created the app, because earlier I had built it for them, and I managed it off of like a custom page builder. But right now, after people have been using the product for more than a year, meaning I had validated that it keeps them like, they keep getting value out of it. And if you're a SaaS product, the biggest thing is churn, meaning if you dumb it down further, whether people keep renewing their subscription. So that's what I was validating. Just because I got 10 people coming on board this month doesn't mean they're going to do that next month as well. So I did that for a year. Any person who's looking at a subscription model, please do that. Otherwise, you might be lying to yourself, in the sense that they might stick with you. You need time to validate that. Once we have made sure that they do get that value out of it for a continued time, we went ahead and made the investment. I got on board designers, developers to do this. That was costly, which we
Can understand that.
and but we waited almost 1.5 years to do that. After that point in time, I kept showing our customers, like, hey, these are the UIs we are looking at, and these are the type of updates we are going to do. And you have to be very lucky here, Bridge. Most customers, they would have their pain points, but they just not talk to you, just do something else, right? Because it's easy for them.
It's pretty common.
Yeah, we do that ourselves,
100%.
right?
I'm in sales, so I completely get where you're coming from. That's absolutely fine.
And you are truly lucky when I'm getting goosebumps, because you're truly lucky when you find customers who are patient and basically love you so much that they'd sit down, type an email saying, hey Pula, I'd like to do this very much. Do you think you can put that on the roadmap, or can you let me know when
that constructive feedback coming from your prospects in your existing customers? Exactly. That's beautiful to see as well,
because then that's like black and white proof that there's a pain point around the product, the particular flow you have, and that's a feature that you should consider building.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's so interesting and amazing to see how you created a product not out of what you thought would be the best, but it is more of what customers want to see from the product like this. As a guidebook, an InvoGuide, probably fulfill that need or the gap in the market as well. So talking about that, what mistake did early hosts make that kind of shaped a feature inside this InvoGuide?
Well, when you said mistake, Bridge, what did you mean?
When I talk about mistake, it is if they would have tried to do something within the Airbnb and short-term rentals. That's when they thought that okay, this is what I did. like you talked about, you took a feedback from the guest.
Yeah.
But there was something or mistake that they did, and they realized that, what, we need something like an InvoGuide
Right,
as a
okay.
product in here
Right.
to actually help us, rather than
Right.
kind of doing what we're doing now and keep carrying
okay.
on.
All right. Okay. So I think to answer that question, one of the biggest issues I think we solved is that if it's a printed book, things change. Like it could be a password, and people end up pasting on a book, like just cutting it out,
Yep.
putting that, and that's ugly. So they're asking their guests to pay what, $300 a night, and if they see such a book like pasted,
Crappy book.
doesn't it doesn't give that premium professional feeling.
Yeah.
And many of them understand that. And once I explain, hey, this is the type of thing we are building, and we help them to join the dots,
Yep.
your updates are immediate, and it comes off as a polished professional look, and they're like, yeah, here's my money. So that's basically, if they keep doing a certain mistake, that's an angle for any founder or a product to solve it for them. So that's one issue. And I think the other one was the lengthy messages that you're not going to read that, right? So and it gets buried in all the emails you get in your inbox anyway.
Yeah.
So this way, with standalone, it's one source of truth basically. And hosts list on multiple platforms. They could have their own website, booking.com, book a batch, Airbnb. If they don't have this sort of a thing, they might have to update things all over the place, and some things might get left out.
Yep.
And stale information leads to customer anger. Like their guest might do something incorrect. So with what we do, we solve all those issues, and those are the bits we highlight in our marketing to resonate with different pain points, and then make the
So it's a different kind of playbook that you have, and marketing playbook that you have, that you actually spell it out to the people and say, this is what the problems we solve. No, that's interesting. And
it's never the features.
Absolutely, never the features. It's what you're solving.
Yes.
That's what you represent. And talking about the industry that you are on, New Zealand hosts face one of the highest guest turnover, right? Because tourism cycles are pretty intense when it comes to New Zealand, or even with the global market that we've been seeing quite a lot. What that means is more questions, more confusions, as we talked about, and more reviews on the line as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? How did these specific behaviors influence InvoGuide's roadmap?
So one thing, the bridge is that we get a lot of international guests, and that's true for many other countries, because we have hosts in UK and Australia now as well. And many of the people, our customers, they just speak English mostly. But when they get Mandarin speaking guests, Hindi, Korean,
maybe Sri Lankan.
From Singapore, so they would have that communication gap there. And this means English speaking guests get a arguably better experience, because they can talk to the host directly, whereas a person who isn't conversational in English might get a lower experience. And this comes about in the review they make, and thereby decreasing the overall rating of the host. So we rolled out translations, and the host can just put everything in plain simple English, and the guest can pick the language they would prefer, and the translations would be there. Technically, this is such a simple feature to implement. My developers were like, is that it that you want to do? I'm like, yeah. I think if any of the founders here are technical engineers, that's, I think, one of the key things I keep doing is that giving the engineers context, and breaking their mindset, in the sense, the technical feasibility of a feature versus the value gained out of that feature for the end customer. two separate things.
Yep.
And what people pay for is the value gained out of the feature, so you can price that accordingly, right? So I keep having that conversation saying, this is exactly why we are building something, and this is how our customer is going to gain value out of it. And yeah, that's just a cycle. Keep asking questions.
Yep.
See what they struggle with.
Yep.
Consider if that's consider the cost versus benefit. Your cost being your development effort, and the benefit being whether you can justify that with the amount you're asking.
Exactly.
And that's what you do as a founder.
No, exactly. And here's what I wanted to take you to the next question is, what regions do you see, maybe within New Zealand or outside the New Zealand as well, as a hotbed? What I mean is more of a growing demand as a short-term rental innovation.
Right. Well, to be honest, I haven't looked at that depth into the hosting marketplace, because for the right now, Reg, we are looking at monetizing this to 100 paying customers and then to 1,000, and that's such a small percentage compared to a $1 billion market.
Absolutely.
So that's not a relevant question for us at this point in time. That's a very good question to look at maybe 1 year, 2 years down the line. At the moment, I'm looking at Australia as well as New Zealand. But we were very lucky to get a lead out of the UK. I was talking to a friend, and I was talking to my entire network, saying, "Hey, we are trying to do this kind of thing. Do you know someone who fits this description, who does this kind of gig?" And one of my friends in the UK, another migrant, my friend from Sri Lanka, she was like, "Yep, I met some ladies who's in the space some time ago. Let me send an email." So she just copied 3 people that she just met, just one meeting, and one of them
responded back.
Yeah, because she had been in the space of digitizing her entire. She's managing 11 properties, so that's just luck, which only comes about if you ask. So coming back to, I think that's a repeating theme in this thing. Like you need to keep asking questions.
I take it that way because this is a very early learning of my sales career that one of my great directors and I value him and his conversations quite well. He said to me that 2 things: people do business with people they like, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And second, if you don't ask, you would never know. So talking about your industry, it is quite the same that we're rotating around the conversation as well. Whatever you've done is you've asked, and once you ask, you get the answer or feedback or constructive feedback that you say, and then you implement.
Yes. I think another angle I should highlight here is, Bridge, if you don't ask and you just work off of assumptions, you get caught in this echo chamber, and it's just hypothetical. And if you take years to build based off of assumptions, once you go to market, it might turn out to be no one disaster. Even needed that particular feature that took you 3 months to build. And they may not understand it, or you got something incorrect that you just missed it. Don't do that, because you are wasting time, money, just working off of what you have imagined. Never do that.
Let's take it to your previous life, right? The conversation we hit it off in the beginning. But your YouTube channel has a massive audience. How did creating educational content prepare you for SaaS industry?
I think the first thing the skill I learned when doing talking head videos, you need to see your prospect in your mind. You need to fully understand their pain points, their life, their context, because what you're doing is essentially talking to a lens, imagining the person who's on the other,
maybe watching you.
Exactly. Maybe watching is a good adjective to have there, because you never know if it's going to fly or not. So I've done, I guess, about 1,000 videos or so, because I had an app which was a daily motivational video basically I did that for 2 years. That's 365 into 2. So basically that amount of videos. I'm very bad at mental math, but and then there was normal videos I did for the channel, some of which I had to take down. Yeah, just repetition. So talking to a camera, imagining your audience is a fundamental skill to have, especially if you're as a founder, if you're thinking of building any sort of content. It could be UGC type or just educational content about, hey, this is how you use my software, go here, do that, this kind of anything like that, because you might keep repeating the same thing. You might have excessive filler words. Even I do that. But yeah, and then editing it, cutting those out, and then fully understanding the workflow when it comes to video production. Because I think building an audience is one of the hardest things I ever did in my life. Especially because it's out of my control. You can only control so much. You can, like, decide on the equipment you buy, the time and the frequency of the videos you make. But once you upload it, you're depending on the algorithm. So and if it comes to the sales call, you never know if they're going to buy or not, but you have invested 30 minutes of your life into that particular call. So these things. But I think the biggest lesson I learned is that bridge. And recently some people were talking to me about consulting on building YouTube channels based off of the because I got the silver play button, and I posted a pic of it on LinkedIn, and that was, people found that to be proof that this guy knows about what he's talking about. So they were considering the same angle, building a YouTube channel for their products or services. So just keep doing it and put the reps in. It may or may not be for you, but at least you'll learn something out of it.
Absolutely. And that's fantastic to see how you have taken a learning from your content creation days and put it into a SaaS business, which is like X and Y or A and Z sort of a stuff, right? I mean, completely different two lanes of doing what it is, but having that cross learning that you have from one platform to another, it is great to see as an individual as well. And did you, in terms of that type of moving towards that kind of a skill set, did it actually help others build a better product, or did it teach you to build a better product for yourself when you had that cross skill from content creation to SaaS platform?
I think when I was building the previous one, Team One, I think the transferable bit came about through the branding work. I did every logo, the thumbnails, and the editing part of it. That required me to look into what worked, what not, the design guidelines and all that, and especially about spacing, the little things. I used all of that training because I had been doing professional designing work even before that project. I used all of that when designing websites for my current customers. So I think that's the continuing skill set there, because in InvoGuide, I'm not doing the audience building part yet. I focused on building the product mainly, and then doing very lead generation at a very low scale. Whereas in the earlier one, I went ahead, built the audience, and then came up with product ideas and plugged it in. So it's like I'm doing things in the reverse order this time around, mainly out of the lessons I learned.
Of course.
Both are hard, but I would argue building the audience is much harder because it's largely out of your control.
And you did the hard part. Then you came here, you put that teaching culture of yours into this product, and now you are doing what you're doing, which is the other bits of the pieces first, but you did that at the later stage.
Exactly.
Brilliant. You hit the nail on the head in talking about it as well, because it's a skill set that you've learned, right? And it never goes away.
Absolutely.
And and in the current market structure, when we talk about skills, there's a lot of talk also about the AI, the automation, and how what the future holds in AI techs. Uh, but retaining or make people coming back to the same platform. We talked about the subscription as well. That is much more important thing, because the churn that you need is much more important. And what you need to know from a subscription model is people are not paying for 1 month and getting away. It needs to be that constant people paying for it and keep on having that subscription for year after year after year, right? And I read the fact on Instagram as well, that hosts with digital guidebooks get around 30 to 50% fewer guest questions. That's not convenience. That's much more of a retention for them. If you look at that, another perspective of having that, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we have done as much as research as we should. But in the little bit of Q&A we have done around that with the very small customer base we have, is that on average they save about 15 minutes per booking, because the repeat questions go away. And these people have usually about 10-15 booked nights. So that's quite a significant chunk of time saved for them. And a property owner usually has their day job, their kids, some even have other properties to manage. So when you take all that into consideration, we save time, and just asking for a fraction of amount.
But do you think it is true that digital guidebooks do save 30 to 50% fewer guest questions, and it helps to retain?
Absolutely. And because it saves time, like I mentioned, and it comes about as a higher star rating. So again, if a guest has a good relationship with the host, they might book again. Meaning there would be that retention that might come through their direct booking sites, not through the OTA or like Airbnb, where they might take a percentage off of what the guest pays. So in that sense, saving time, building a brand with the direct guests, all of those things are benefits that our hosts get, and we are happy to facilitate that.
Absolutely. And what do you think that's one part that your prospects should automate in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think Bridge right now, hosts see this as some choose to do a very personal experience. Like they would prefer welcoming each and every one of their guests personally. But some people might do 100% automated check-in, like they don't even know the guest personally. So it's a spectrum. You can't say this one thing should be done for each and every property. But at least I think if you can, and we are trying to get to that end goal, if you can make a virtual host, and then the property, like the guest can talk to the virtual version first, and that virtual version is very knowledgeable. So this is AI basically, and can handle so many questions without hallucinating or misleading the guest, because that will be a big issue to have. But then that would save that much more time for the actual property owner, and the guest would not be having a bad experience at all. But for that, the AI avatar has to be top notch. So we don't know where it's going to go with all these smart glasses that are coming in, with how people use it. We have, because it's not mainstream yet, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, and then maybe
take a few bit of learnings from there and introduce you. I've seen a very brilliant, you talk about the glasses, I saw the other day when it was one of the conferences I went to, they used the glasses. I think what do you call Meta?
I think so.
You call them.
And that's a Facebook
That's a
product, yeah.
that's a Facebook product as well. They built this flight simulator for that, and I did had an opportunity to do it for a bit, and it was fantastic, I must say. But yeah, it would be really interesting to see how we can get that kind of an AI or a virtual assistant that you talk about into the world of Airbnbs and short-term rentals, and see how we can generate a next level sort of stuff. But do you believe the hosts who kind of you talked about the guests who want a personalized approach that they would like, that someone like if they use the automation, will they kind of survive the next few years?
I think so.
Okay.
The reason being, with things becoming more and more AI, people would start craving human to human connections that much more. Therefore, if a person actually puts in the time to come and welcome you, that would become a premium experience compared to having the same AI avatar. So we never know how it's going to play out. Humans can be very tricky to predict. And I think human behavior is fundamentally primal, in the sense we crave the human connection. I think that was apparent during pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'd bet on that as well.
True.
Yeah.
No. It's an interesting, spectrum and the bandwidth that is there, of AI and a human touch that you need to give it is. But if you talk about yourself, what belief about success did you once hold that turned out to be completely wrong?
I think buying expensive stuff. I think I come from a middle class family. My father is a professor, my mother is a teacher. Didn't have all the money.
True.
And as a kid, you don't understand how the economy works, and you just see nice things and you just want them, and you never get the rationalization from your parents. Mostly it's like, no, we are not doing that. And as a 5-year-old kid, you don't understand that. The tricky part is, and again, in my previous startup, it was psychology I did. I was a coach. So, and I learned all those childhood memories, they play out even when you're an adult, especially in ways that you're not fully aware of. So yeah, if you won't just it's, I think, shiny object syndrome. So if you keep doing that, no matter how much money you would make, you would keep blowing it away on these things. I've come to realize, Bridge, that the most fundamental, like, I've recalibrated my success to be, I have full control of my time. Meaning, I mean, I'd have loved to do this on a Monday morning with you, this particular talk, but I can't do that right now because I have to do my day job. In other words, I don't have full control of my time. Like, I have to do it on someone else's terms. This is what I'm trying to get out of as a founder. And at the same time, I need to say this: when you are having employees, you are essentially paying for their time. And it's perfectly fine for someone to choose that and operate in that particular framework. But that's not for me.
True.
So I'd rather do this, take on all the risk and uncertainty of being a founder, give other people jobs, make their lives happy, but I do this, and with the understanding that my terms of success is I can go and please and do whatever I want on my own terms. My time is only mine to decide on.
That is absolutely fantastic way to answer that question. Though I've got a very different answers from people I talk to, but I think and it is subjective, as always people say. But that's a beautiful answer to saying that. And what is that one moment in this whole journey of yours where there's one particular moment that impressed yourself, where you impressed yourself?
I think in the earlier startup, getting the play button, that was validation, saying, all right, this US company sent me this particular thing, and YouTube is YouTube. Like, it is huge, and you see all these people getting the play buttons, and and you see them as, they have achieved something, and
Yeah.
this is me having achieved the same thing. But the toxic cycle repeats, because once you have that, then it's
You need more.
done.
Yeah.
And then you need something else. So
Yeah.
it keeps repeating. But looking back, because I was actually watching the unboxing video last night, man, that was cringe in the sense, this is your own self. I'm sure you would be in the same situation, Bridge. Like, you would look back at your first set of podcasts, and you would be like, man, why did I have to do it like that? That's proof that you have grown as a person or a creator. And if you can look back on your own self 5 years before and cringe, that means you have grown, and you're more mature, you're more valuable. But yeah, that for me is like,
hopefully the moment will come. I've always been a person who said hopeful,
alright,
but I will say this time, I mean, I'm much more confident of what I'm doing, and I will be there when I will shoot that cringe video for myself, and hopefully that will be soon. I'll put hopefully there. But if you talk about, in the final journey of our questions here, if you had to compress everything that you've learned into one scaling secret, as the name goes, for the New Zealand founders, what would it be?
Validate with customer feedback before committing all the time and resources. You might have to put in some time, of course, to do the validation, but be very aware whether they are just your own assumptions, or whether they have been validated with people who don't really care about you. What I mean by that is, it shouldn't be your spouse, your partner, your parents who you're asking for this validation. They give you the nice answer, not the truth. So just go out to the public, run ads, see if people click buttons to come to landing pages, whether they do that. Keep doing that. You'll find your way to something that'll work.
And what's your one message to someone in New Zealand who's kind of sitting on a business idea, and kind of scared to take that first leap of faith? What is your message to them?
Don't take ruinous risks. What I mean by that is, if you have a family to support, don't quit your job next week without having anything. Because you are just putting yourself up for a whole lot of frustration, anxiety. Before that, at least do what I did. I can only speak out of my own experience. I did my current gig for 2.5 years while doing a day job. I'm still doing it because I need to build this product up to a standard where I can generate enough money so that I can go full time. This is exactly not the thing I did when I was a kid. I just was like, I'm out. I can't do that right now because I have a mortgage, I have a wife. So don't take rash decisions if you have other people depending on you. Just because you have this wild dream of being an entrepreneur, put in the time and effort, and just validate with your own self whether you have the patience to keep doing this for a long stretch of time, because you will be doing this for a long stretch of time.
Fantastic. Now, that's Pula's journey with us, perfectly telling us courage is the only thing that will take you forward, and you don't need to have a perfect start every time. Look at the things that is around you, make your own self. So that it is for today from Scaling Secrets. If you like the episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and keep watching us for the next great content on Scaling Secrets. Thank you, Pula.
Thanks, Bridge.
Okay.